When it came to the Packers and Packers fans, nobody ever said that they were the brightest in the bunch. But when it came to this particular Packer, he absolutely just made a really insane statement prior to a matchup that the Lions are definitely going to pay attention to. Stay tuned, everybody. We're going to talk about it.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. My friends, I am so thankful to be back at my, kind of like my studio, kind of like what I normally am in my kind of normal element, because I'm going to tell you this right now. When you're not in your normal element, things are a little bit awkward and you kind of feel out of place when you're recording, and it just feels so good to be kind of back in what I normally do here. And everything's kind of like where it is. I've got all my stuff, so it's like, let's get into the content here and let's have some fun here, especially for the next couple of weeks here before the Christmas holiday and everything else. But obviously we know we got this game that's coming up against the Packers this Thursday, which, let me tell you something, that in of itself is kind of weird because playing 2 Thursday games in a row is something that we don't typically do. Usually we have 1 Thursday game every single year, which is the Thanksgiving game, and we might have another one sprinkled in here or there, but having 2 back-to-back is kind of a little bit of an anomaly. But this one is particularly important for a couple of reasons. One, it's a division rivalry, especially after the last division rivalry was the literal previous game on Thanksgiving, so that's number one. But also number 2, this division rivalry matchup is going to be in prime time because it's at 8 o'clock at night. Then on top of that, this particular matchup has got playoff implications and also playoff seeding implications. So this is a very big damn game. A lot of people are going to be paying attention to it. But as if there was, no other need for this game to have as much publicity as it already has, some idiotic Packer had to go and open his mouth and just absolutely, add more fuel to the fire, just absolutely heighten things even more so than what they were. Enter in Packers tight end Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft, for the most part, has been pretty much quiet throughout the majority of his career. He's actually had a pretty decent year this year. But what Tucker Kraft did is opened his mouth and specifically said something that almost any person that has played this sport, or rather I should just say any sport, knows that if you want to get someone's attention for all the wrong reasons, this is the kind of statement that you make. Now, what exactly did Tucker Kraft say? In essence, what he vowed to do, or in essence, what he said he was going to do, was he was deliberately, in essence, going to try and harm Kirby Joseph if he gets a chance. Now, did he explicitly state that? No, he did not. But if you read between the lines and you get exactly what he's trying to say here, he might as well have said it. What exactly did he say? He said this. Tucker Kraft said about Kirby Joseph, he's a good defensive back. I might not agree with some of the places he likes to lay contact. He's taken some of my brothers out of the game, and I think about that too. So if I get a chance to get my hands on him, playing football. Okay, here. Most of that quote, whatever. It's a fluff article kind of piece. But the last sentence of that quote is the money part. If I get a chance to get my hands on him. Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. Without explicitly stating that this guy is looking to harm Kirby Joseph, he in essence did. Because it's like, listen, nobody says anything about laying hands on somebody in the context of this, even if when you're talking in football, because it's like, dude, football is a physical sport. You're going to be laying hands on other people. That's just the nature of the sport. So making that statement is rather ridiculous and it's redundant because it's like, dude, you're going to be doing that anyway. So why the hell would you make the statement anyway? The point of the matter is without explicitly stating it, Tucker Kraft is saying, hey, if I get a chance, I'm going to let Kirby Joseph know what I personally think about him by trying to take a shot at him. I'm going to just say this right now. If there was ever a statement that could be considered dunce statement of the year, idiot statement of the year, dumbass statement of the year, this would be it. I'm going to tell you why right now. The reason why is because I've heard a lot of statements where people say, oh yeah, we're going to go in, we're going to win this game. Oh yeah, we don't respect our opponent, blah, 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 blah. I've heard plenty of those statements. Funny enough, I've already heard one such statement from a previous Packer the last time we played them. That would being Xavier McKinney about how he didn't respect us because we supposedly ran up the score on opponents. Now here we are, however many weeks it is later, and another Packer on the other side of the ball wants to open up his freaking, soup kitchen and make a statement pretty much saying without saying, if I get a chance, I'm going to try and deliberately hurt one of the Lions' best players. Here's why this statement is absolutely asinine, absolutely insane. One, let's just put this from the context of Kirby Joseph and put this in the context of how he plays football. Does this dude seriously, honestly think that Kirby Joseph intentionally goes for the knees? Because that's exactly what this is in reference to. He's referring to the fact of how, last year Kirby Joseph injured, TJ Hawkinson and also Tyler Higbee with those hits to the knees. That's exactly what he's referring to with about how he's taken out some of my brothers. My question is this: does he seriously, honestly think that Kirby Joseph deliberately goes for the knees because that's what he wants to do, or that that's his primary choice of attack? Or rather, what would be the more appropriate way to look at this is because that's how the rules have made it. Let's think about this, folks. Go back to guys like, John Lynch, Ed Reed, and, maybe Troy Polamalu and a couple of other safeties. I don't recall those guys ever really going for the knees, per se. In fact, 9 times out of 10, those guys would get their nose in there and they would ring your bell. That's what guys like John Lynch and Ed Reed were known for. They were infamous for laying the wood. They were infamous for knocking people out of the game. That was their style of football. But wait a minute here. The rules have now made it to where you can't tackle that way. You can't try and literally lay the boom on somebody. You have to try and go about it in a different way. And when you think about it, all the different rules that have been coming out year after year have made it much more difficult for defenders to not only, 1, tackle said guys, but also 2, to tackle them legally. Because let's understand something here. Oh, that's right. It used to be that the only thing that you couldn't do was to either do a horse collar tackle or you couldn't tackle by the face mask. Now it's like you can't tackle by the face mask, you can't horse collar, you can't freaking, put all your body weight on somebody, and I'm talking about the quarterback. There's all of these freaking rules and stipulations about how you can tackle somebody. Hell, they just got rid of the hip drop tackle no more than, last year. So it's like, dude, at this point, it's like, how else are these guys supposed to try and tackle these dudes? I mean, let's think about it here. Kirby Joseph is a decent-sized safety. But when you're trying to tackle a guy that's a tight end that is like 6'4", 6'5", 250, 260, I'm sorry. If you take away every other means of trying to tackle the dumb, sorry to say it, there's not many other options left except taking his legs out. The NFL has made it to where safeties, cornerbacks, and all these guys that are much smaller to guys that are like, these big tight ends and wide receivers, it's like, listen, we have no other option except to take the guy's legs out. So it's like, by the design of the rules committee, that's what they're enforcing. That's not only what they're enforcing, that's what they're telling these guys they have to do. So it's like, if you have a problem with somebody, don't have a problem with Kirby Joseph, Tucker Kraft, have a problem with the rules committee. Because it used to be that, hey, so long as you didn't pull the guy down by the face mask or you didn't pull him down by the horse collar, it was considered a legal tackle. But now because all these rules are in place, well, that's not considered legal, that's considered dangerous, so now this is virtually the only way you can be tackled. I'm sorry, whose fault is that? Is that the fault of the defender or is that the fault of the rules committee that made up this dumbass rule? So that's point number one. But point number two, the reason why this statement is absolutely stupid on Tucker Kraft's part is, let me put it to you this way, folks. You make this kind of a statement that in essence you're looking to cause potential and deliberate harm to another player, to another team, and you do it literally on the eve of a big rivalry game that has playoff seed implication, and you're going to the opposing home stadium of the team you're making all this noise about. I'm telling you this right now. If there's one thing we know about people in Detroit, and we know one thing about the Lions that play for the Detroit Lions, they do not take kindly to people coming after their own. They do not take kindly to people talking smack, and they sure as hell do not take kindly to people taking open shots at them. I'm telling you this right now. Obviously, this has made the news waves, and everybody knows about it by this point. But I can guarantee you this. If it even becomes remotely, even is suspected that Tucker Kraft is trying to cause harm to Kirby Joseph, do not be surprised if you see all 10 other Detroit Lions players literally gang tackle him and try to cause him harm. I'm telling you this right now. The act, the thought, the statement of him trying to say, I'm going to lay hands on another player, that's already going to have the rest of the Detroit Lions defensive players already on edge and on high alert. As soon as they suspect any damn funny business, all bets are off. You are going to see 10 Honolulu blue and silver jerseys instantly go on Tucker Kraft and be surprised if that dude does not come out of that pile with his helmet off. Because there are going to be a lot of Lions that are going to be trying to get any shot they can on him, whether it's a haymaker to the freaking head, whether it's a knee to the ribs. They will try everything they can to get something out of him as far as pain is being inflicted. That's what I'm trying to say. To make this kind of a statement prior to the game, absolutely stupid. Not only are you adding free bulletin board material to our locker room bulletin board, but now you put a big old target on your back that is going to be very instantaneously ignited if for whatever reason our team thinks you're trying to do something. And here's what's worse, is because now everybody knows about it. Not only does the Lions have their sensors on high alert, oh, here's another one for you, jackass. So does the league office. If they see that you try to intentionally cause harm to another player, there's not going to be just fines. There's not just going to be suspensions. Do not be surprised if you are banned for the rest of the year for deliberately trying to cause harm to another player. You don't believe me? Okay, remind me again what happened to Greg Williams of the New Orleans Saints when it came out that he had the Bounty Gate freaking thing put on his head because he was trying to knock Brett Favre out of that NFC Championship game? Oh, that's right. Greg Williams pretty much has never been heard of from again. In fact, I know he's still coaching, but is he even coaching in the NFL at this point? I don't know. The NFL has a very strong anti-tolerance has a no-tolerance sort of clause for people trying to cause harm to other players. So that's point number two. And the final point I want to say here is this. I'm going to say this. If you seriously want to try and take on our defense, this is kind of piggybacking off of that last point I just made here, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Our defense is gritty as hell, just as the rest of our team is. But I'll tell you this right now. I don't think there is a single team or defense out there in the NFL, save maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, that you do not want to try and physically get into a fisticuffs match with. You try to take on our defense, you will lose on the physicality front every single damn time. And again, if you deliberately try and hurt one of our players, I can guarantee you are not going to be walking away from that attempt without something on you being hurt. Because, again, let's understand something here. This is supposed to be a sportsmanship kind of sport. There's supposed to be honor. There's supposed to be integrity. If you deliberately cross that line and you try to inflict pain on somebody just because, oh, hey, you know what? I don't like the way this guy tackled two of my other tight end brothers because, oh, right, I'm not using my brain here and realizing that that's the way the NFL Rules Committee has made it to where safeties and cornerbacks have to tackle these guys. So rather than filing my grievance with the NFL front office and Rules Committee, I'm going to take it out on a guy that has become the public face of supposedly being a quote-unquote dirty player. Thank you, Matthew Stafford, and your big-ass mouth. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm telling you this right now. If Tucker Kraft makes even one wrong move towards Kirby Joseph, or if there's any even sense of impropriety of him trying to cause harm to Kirby Joseph, do not be surprised if you are going to see an all-out brawl on Ford Field on Thursday night. I can guarantee you. The Lions players, they will protect their own. And when it's something as stupid as and also dishonorable as this is, it's going to take a hell of a lot of the NFL officials and probably also Coach Campbell trying to pull them apart to not have this thing escalate to all-out war. You want to talk about a rivalry? That's fine. But I'm telling you this right now. This is the kind of stupid-ass crap that literally will start wars between teams. You can forget about rivalry, and you can forget about grudge match, and you can forget about bad blood. You are going to start something that I can guarantee you this. Packers fans and the Packers, you will not be able to finish. Because I guarantee you, anytime that the Lions play the Packers going forward, if what I think is about to happen on Thursday night happens, you are going to have your ass handed to you on a silver platter from now until doomsday. Because us Lions fans, if there's one thing we have been able to prove is that we do not have short memories. And we hold on to crap for a very long time. And I can tell you this, so do the players because their memories are just as long as ours is. And, oh, by the way, they're the ones that actually get to go out on the field and, lay hands on you and have the ability to physically throttle you. Just saying. But anyway, folks, I figured I would talk about this really quickly because I saw this and I'm like, you know what, man? This is something I got to talk about because if what I think happens, we're going to be having a lot of conversations about this in more ways than one. But having said that, I'm going to end the episode and say thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past, I again want to highly encourage y'all to make sure you please hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content. And if you didn't subscribe in the past, hopefully I gained your subscription and you subscribe today. Also want to encourage y'all please to share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can. The more we can share it, the greater the channel can grow and spread. And with that being said to everybody, I hope y'all are having a great day. I hope y'all got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. I also hope that you got something out of this content that you enjoy and you like. Whether you guys are a first-time viewer or this is your upteenth time watching me, I hope you all enjoyed it. And with that being said, God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.